Here's what happened last time on the Ed Varga Morning Show.
In part one, Fonzie was repairing a hearse and discovered counterfeit money hidden in the coffin. Fonzie decides to return the hearse before going to the police. But when Fonzie doesn't show up for dinner, Richie gets worried and convinces Ralph and Potsy they should all look for him at the Heavenly Slumber funeral parlor. There they discover it's the front for a famed criminal genius, the Candyman. Now the Candyman is after Fonzie because he knows too much. Ralph and Potsy are captured. Richie races to warn Fonzie that the Candyman's out to get him.
Just a tad.
This is an on-air production here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, stop. That's good. All right.
591-8870.
What? No, I don't think that... This is when Ed and I sang.
Yeah, exactly.
We were darn good artists, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. We sounded hot.
We opened for Depeche Mode.
And Milli Vanilli.
Whose fault is this, Cillian?
Did you hear one of the guys from Milli Vanilli got arrested for something?
Sexual harassment.
Is he claiming that somebody else did it and he just...
It was not me. My
okay, here we go.
Hold on. Hey, make it organized.
Okay, just press play here.
That's found the traditional Russian welcome symbols, bread and salt, when they boarded the Mir orbiting station today.
That's nice. Bread
Radio
and salt.
Moscow says guidance problems complicated the transfer.
I'm going to stop this and fast forward it a bit.
Well, thanks for explaining that,
preparedness, Ileana, is a key in radio.
Now let's check sports action. Here's Pete Galliano.
Okay, Joe. Doug DeCenzo.
What?
Okay, that's
Hello?
not set up here.
This is my last day and you're ruining it.
Winning
We may have to have another last day tomorrow with this tape going.
turning to college football, unranked Washington State.
We might indeed.
Pete sounds like he's having fun with this.
Okay, hey, let's do Knucklehead News.
Okay.
Let's get out of this for the time being. We'll do Knucklehead News, play a song, and see if Ileana can get her stuff together. Ileana, take that to another studio, okay?
Yeah,
All right, I'm out of here.
Let's do it.
Set this up.
Take your stupid tape.
No, it's not stupid. This is the best.
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, okay, but it's time for our last Knucklehead News ever.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the great big land of Lincoln, it is 9:45, and time...
Hold on a second.
What?
I'm going to give these guys, they're going to do the first two stories. And
Okay,
Oh, we
go.
are?
From the Big Rock Candy Mountain
We're doing
itself,
these cold.
from Chicago,
They're
we
doing
have...
our
cold.
We have...
I've edited
Shut
them.
up! We have Knucklehead News with our Knucklehead News hosts, Tim, Tony, and Joe. Who gets the first story?
Who's got the girl story?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Tim McDermott with story number
A
1.
young Canadian woman suffocated after she became trapped in a freezer she was trying to fix, according to police.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I know why you gave me this one. Bibi Shamaruni Khan was found by her brother Mohammed Khan when he opened the freezer to put some meat in and found that it was already full. Winnipeg police say the woman was found inside. Oh, Ed, you have visitors, I do believe.
I have visitors?
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Oh, my God. What do we
Winnipeg
have?
police say the woman was
Two
found
broads.
inside the freezer with a flashlight and a caulking gun and theorize she may have crawled into the freezer and shut the lid to find some leaks.
Great. Cut that out.
So she's dead, the caulk is fine, and the flashlight still works because they were Duracell batteries.
And there's a used freezer for sale.
That's
Exactly.
nice. Good. Thank you. Who's got story number 2?
That'd be Joe.
All right. I assume no responsibility for the selection of this story.
That's all right.
Okay, go ahead.
A sore loser fired from a $60,000 a year job was convicted of attempted murder for mailing his former boss a live hand grenade with the pin out.
Sure.
Charles
That's good.
Zito, 45, mailed an MK-33 grenade several months after Robert Weinstein, owner of Shooter's Emporium in
Two guys,
Beach,
shooters.
Florida, fired him. The grenade arrived at Weinstein's office packed in styrofoam and in a cardboard box. Zito had pulled the pin from the grenade and taped the detonating clip in place. Weinstein, 23, opened the box partway before recognizing what was inside. Good thing the guy owned a gun place, so he knew what it was.
Sure.
He
Kaboom!
later called police. So
Okay, Knucklehead news story.
Peter's Emporium.
We have people here to spank me, by the way.
Yes,
Oh, it's good.
I
It's
saw them.
Jessica and
It's gonna sound good
Tasha.
on the air.
Now, where were you guys?
Sasha?
Tasha.
Oh, Tasha.
Where were you guys headed today before you came over and decided to spank me? UIC? Really? Really? You go to that school? How the lights work over there?
Kaboom!
Good to finally get that. Should we post? Hold on, we're going to postpone this because these girls got to get to school and they got to spank me first.
Oh, this is
We must not interrupt the flow of higher education.
We must not. We
this
really,
is a good radio bit.
we really can't. Should I put the microphone by my butt?
Yes. Put it in your butt, Ed.
I like to say to Tasha and the other girl,
Yeah.
I don't know her name, that they are the luckiest girls in the world. Every girl in the station wants to spank Ed.
Like
Well,
hell
the
you do.
opportunity.
How come this is the first time I've heard of it? Like hell you
It's all
do.
kept secret. Everything comes out of the woodwork the day you leave.
Yeah, woodwork. Only when you talk
Only
about
the
Ed.
nails.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. They're gonna spank. Who wants to spank me first?
I will.
Okay, Jessica is gonna be the designated
Have they
spanker.
washed their
They,
hands?
they only
Here
have
goes.
designated spankers in the American League, you know.
Oh!
The GM is pacing back and forth in the
What do
lobby
you,
at this
who
point.
said you got 3? Hold on. Tasha, do you want to catch one
I'll
too?
only spank you one.
Okay, Tasha.
Catch
okay.
one.
Oh, okay, Tasha.
This is illegal in some states.
Let me rate this right now. Tasha has a
Tennessee,
better
though.
swing. Tasha has a much harder swing. I like Tasha's. It was only one.
Tasha,
However,
are you a tennis player?
Tasha, you play tennis? No, okay, but she's still got good forearm on that. I like that. But Jessica,
Who's got a firmer hand?
Jessica had the firmer hand, and she did it 3 times too. It was original. See, I wasn't expecting the other 2. I was expecting only one. So I want to
She
thank
got
you.
carried away, huh?
What, Jessica and Tasha, anybody you want to say hi to really quick? No, I don't have friends. No, who? Who? Billy LeVere? You like him, don't you? The little taking it to the rear man? Yeah. Billy LeVere.
Taking it to
Well,
the
thanks
rear
for
with
stopping by,
Billy
Jessica.
LeVere.
It was nice meeting you. Tasha, it was a pleasure being spanked by you.
Here's a little known secret about Billy.
One
Make
more?
him laugh. He has
Hold
a
on, she wants
laugh.
one more. Okay, there we go. Right in the wallet. That one killed. Jessica, Tasha, out. Out.
Bye.
Out. Boys, my GM look mad right now.
Oh,
Ed, what the hell are you doing to my radio station? Okay, let's finish up Knucklehead News really quick.
Okay.
Who is Knucklehead News story number 3?
I have the last 2 stories.
Do it.
The simple arrest of a smelly bag lady with booze on her breast turned breath
Freudian slip.
and her breasts maybe too turned into a tragic family reunion when the arresting police officer realized he'd slapped handcuffs on his long-lost mother. Officer Daniel Burns got his own mom fingerprinted, photographed, and sent to the city jail for loitering and disorderly conduct. She kept on saying that the cop who arrested her looked like her little boy, said a police spokesman. She said she hadn't seen him in 20 years because she left her family when she didn't want to be married anymore. Authorities believe that at first the bag lady, identified as 52-year-old Peggy Reagan, was just another street person suffering from hallucinations, mental illness, and alcoholism. But before transporting her from the jail to a psychiatric hospital for observation, police checked with Officer Burns to see if the bag lady with rotted teeth and scars on her face might indeed be his mother.
Oops.
Burns confirmed that his mother had indeed abandoned the family when he was 4, and that everything the bag lady said was true.
All right. Woo.
Yeah.
All right, time. One more Knucklehead News story. We
This
got to
is
hurry
it.
up here.
The final Knucklehead news story ever.
Ever?
In the world.
Ever?
Yes.
Okay.
A solemn wedding ceremony erupted into pandemonium when a minister began speaking and allegedly knocked out the nervous bride and groom with his bad breath. Bride Linda Smithson swayed momentarily and then fainted flat on her back as Reverend Claude Willis leaned close and
I
said,
thought it was Jimmy Swagger.
Linda, do you promise to love, honor, and cherish Thomas for as long as you live till death do you part?
You've been eating onions.
Stunned wedding guests say it wasn't even 5 seconds later that bridegroom Thomas Newsom also fell to his knees and was out like a light. People started screaming and everyone went wild. It was like a movie or something. I couldn't believe what
Or a
was
Wisconsin
happening,
wedding.
said Darlene Gardner, who was sitting in the 5th row of the church. As the frantic ushers and bridesmaid hovered over the fallen couple, wedding guests rushed to the altar. Both the bride and bridegroom came to several minutes later and were driven to the hospital in Perth, Australia, where they stayed overnight for precautionary examinations. The embarrassing diagnosis came the following day when doctors concluded the couple fainted from the extensive toxic odor coming from Reverend Wilson's crummy mouth.
That's got to be good.
Doctors reached their surprising conclusion after Dr. Craig Ives,
Okay.
a wedding guest, suggested
Dr.
they
Art
also
Levine.
join.
Dr. Art Levine. That's enough with the medical report. Is Ileana there?
Yes,
Ileana, hurry up. We're running out of time here. Ed's swan song.
Okay.
Ed Fest
Ed's swan
90.
song. Here
Yeah.
goes.
Play?
Yes. Just press play.
7:16 on 88.7 FM. Weather after this.
Joe, it's just you two today?
Huh?
Where are the interns?
Well, you know what? Ileana has a story, and I forgot to introduce.
Thank you.
You son.
You want to hear it now? You want to? It's a good. It's a good story.
You
Very
steamrolled through
very
everything
good
else,
story.
didn't you? Just.
I wrote her a note during Pete's Sportscast saying that I'm sorry. I forgot. It's my own fault. I just, you know why? Because normally I write it down that she has a story. And
Does this go anywhere soon?
Yes, it does. One moment.
Was I hungover that morning?
We'll do the story right now.
You were always hungover.
We're going to do it right now.
You're not a real man.
I know.
All right.
WGN, they don't pull this nonsense.
You know,
man.
Joe, people figure, okay, if they tune in for news, they're gone. Because, you tune in, you get your news, you tune right out. And, now they're not expecting
Well,
news to
let's
come
make the
after sports.
decision. Should we do it now, or should we wait?
Does this
until
go
the next
anywhere?
one?
Does this go anywhere soon?
Yes, listen.
Do I do it now?
It's up to you. I mean, you guys are the bosses here. You forgot about
Yeah, we
me. I'm
don't-
just a peon.
We never
My
called
story
you.
was very important, very newsworthy.
We
Agile.
Let's
Agile.
do this all over again, Ed. Let's start it all over. from the beginning.
we regard our interns very highly.
Not true.
You've got the wrong.
President Bush is speaking on drug abuse.
No. Stop the tape.
stop
the tape. Stop the tape. Thank you. Where was that going, guys?
If you listen, okay, you don't have to listen to the rest of it now, but
What?
I'd really like
Hurry
to
up.
hear not now. No.
Hurry up,
You don't
hurry
have
up.
time. No.
I think
It's
this
your
is more
last
of
5 minutes.
Ileana's personal
You're a little
memories
too
than
low there,
than
okay?
good
It is my
radio.
personal
You're not
memories.
a
I just want to
piano.
show.
Do you want to do the story?
No.
Let's have her do the
Sure.
story.
Let's
I'll
you sure do the story.
Let's
Okay.
have her do the story.
Introduce
Here,
me.
okay.
Introduce me.
7:18 on
insane.
88.7
Demanding now.
FM. A Chicago doctor has been charged with performing illegal abortions.
Okay, guys, turn it off. Where does it go from here?
You'll hear. I'll let you play
Okay,
it later.
play it for me later, because
No,
we're
later.
running out of time.
Ileana's
The
It's
point was-
9:53. If
The
there's
point was you were an incredible influence on me. You
What
made
does
me
that
feel
mean?
So incredible. The rest of it,
Ileana's house of density.
Tony.
the house of density.
So hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
9:54.
You think so?
Hey! It's 9:54. Guys, have we killed this thing? Have we pretty much killed it? Tim, I want to thank you for all the quality work.
I want to thank you for the experience, sir.
Joe, I want to thank you too.
Thank you, sir. And,
Tony, what?
Best of luck.
Well, thank you much. Tony, you've been wonderful. Mr. Grumpy every morning.
Mr. White Beater.
Ileana, you were great. Joe Ellion, you were great. Everybody. Zemer was great. I mean, fantastic people to work with around here. And it's time for us to get the
All
heck
the
out of
people
here.
who filled in for me.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
The list is too long.
Ever-
I read it on my last day.
Ever and a day. And so my last song, it's come time. Lakeshore Drive, Eliota Haynes and Jeremiah for Ed, because I'm getting the hell out of here.
We
Thanks
love you,
a lot,
Ed.
people. We'll see you later.
And think to yourself, there's no place like home. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
The day the music died. And now it's time for Larry Lou Jack's major address to the nation.
We're sending you back to the future.
Back together again after 30 years, it's Ed Varga and Joe Weiss on WLUW Chicago. In case you couldn't tell, this is a college radio station. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Joe and Ed.
All right, Joe.
Hey, Ed.
When did that happen?
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
Is
That was
this
what,
working?
1990?
That was 1990. And I thought that was my last day on WLUW. Where the
Probably
W's
should have been.
Yeah.
Now that they hear this, they won't have us back again.
Welcome to the alumni, what do they call this?
Alumni Takeover.
The Alumni Takeover.
If you were tuning in expecting independent music from DJ Eileen, I'm afraid I have some bad news. Eileen had a class tonight, so we're sitting in for her. And then Olivia at 7, she also apparently had a class.
Yeah, because they have a lot of class here. A lot more class than when
they sure do.
Than when we were here. Hey, Joe, do me a favor. We just figured out how to work the phone system. So if you could hit that top green light right there. Hit it once.
This one.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to bring it up. Jim, are you there? Hello?
I'm here. Yeah, I've been listening for a couple minutes now.
Okay.
Jim.
I'm going to bring in somebody. This is my son, Jim. Jim, you can hear what's going on the air here?
That's correct. Only through the phone line, though.
Oh,
I can't pick you up.
Well, okay.
You're out in you're far, far away from Chicago.
Jim is actually in Milwaukee. right now.
Yeah,
and
the
ladies
signal
and
doesn't go
gentlemen,
up there.
this is my son. Now, I think it more than appropriate when we talk about an alumni takeover of WLUW that we talk to my son because he is basically a product of my time on WLUW. Jim, you're aware of that, right?
I'm aware. It was something to do with a write-in competition.
It was actually, yes, the Win a Dream Date with Ed competition.
Yeah.
Which, for some reason...
It apparently was a very dream date.
It was... Well, it didn't happen on the dream date. I didn't make Jim that night.
This is every college radio station student's dream come true.
Worst nightmare?
Or worst nightmare, depending on how you look at it.
Jim, if you're there right now, I would like to play this moment for you, the magic moment when I talk to your mom for the first time. Are you ready for this?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm good to go.
What are you doing right now, by the way?
I'm standing.
Are you in your dorm? Well,
you're not driving, are you?
No, I'm not driving.
Okay, good, because I was going to tell you to pull over to the side of the road.
You should not do radio bits when you are when you're doing driving.
Safety first.
So are you at home? Where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm home.
That sounded suspicious to me. Okay, let's just go right to the pre-recorded part and see if this works. Okay, and of course it's not working because I didn't do that first. Hold on, Jim. It's a technical workshop. Let's skip it back there, and let's try it this time.
It's a late 80s morning show flashback on WLUW.
Was Salita Campbell. She won the Dream Date with Ed, but she still hasn't called us. I called her place of work earlier. She's not in work
probably not in yet.
Okay, Salita.
It is only 8:40.
Salita, you better hurry up, babe, okay?
A 9 to 5 job.
Salita, you gotta call me. Call me right now, and we will make
I
love.
bet she calls, right before you go off the air here.
Yeah. Telling me she's outside with a Rambo knife.
Yes.
Salita.
Ed, guess what you want?
Salita, please come with me. I will take you to the edge of the universe. A sexual experience you have never had before in your life.
I know. This is
great. God, that's it. She's not calling now. She's not calling now.
Salita, let me kiss you.
Let's get back to the recording.
How do you like that?
You can see Jim,
I
I'm very
love
romantic.
I'm gonna barf.
Shut up, Tony. This is my fantasy, not yours. Oh, Salita, I love you. I love you. I love you. Love me back.
Have we done the news yet?
No, I don't think we have.
About Eisenhower, Mannheim to the post office is 25 minutes. The Tri-State, the East-West Tollway, and the Northwest Tollway are reporting normal delays.
She's on the phone.
Okay,
I kind of figured.
Northbound Lakeshore Drive is building through Grant Park. Southbound lanes are still heavy. Diversity to Fullerton, and again, Oak to Chicago. Do we want to do this now or what?
I think so. Salita, good morning.
Morning, Ed.
How's it going, babe?
Oh, great.
How's it going, little darling?
Great.
Little darling, my little darling who promised me not a Southern hospitality. Woo! Ride me like a mulette. Woo!
Oh, Ed, you are just so handsome. You big hunk of man, you.
Oh, Salita, it seems like just yesterday you and I were going out, and now we're getting married.
Oh, well.
Isn't it incredible how time flies by so quickly?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Salita, do you know the cash call amount?
First time I talked to
Just kidding.
Cash call amount.
No, it's the dream date. So where do you want to go on the date?
Oh, I'll think about it. That's because I wasn't prepared here, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what do you need to do? Like your hair? I can wait. I'll just wait and I'll watch some cable.
Not much hair to do.
Uh-oh. What do you mean?
It's Sinead O'Connor.
You're bald? What? Oh, you just have a modern woman haircut.
Yeah.
Now, again, you're 26 years old.
Right.
And you said that I'm a wild man and I sound really sexy.
Yeah.
Can you amplify on that? I'm kidding, Salita.
You're a wild man. And you're very sexy.
Thank you. Well, Salita, you have a good day at work, okay?
Oh, I have a question for Salita.
Hold on. Do you guys have any questions? Salita, hang on.
Salita, where are you originally from?
I'm from a little town southwest of Atlanta called Fairburn.
Oh, okay.
A Georgia resident.
Yeah.
Tony, any questions? Tony wants to play Chuck Woolery. See, after we have our dream date, he wants to get us both on the air and find out if I wanted to date one of the other girls or if I wanted to date you, and we're supposed to tell bad stories about each other.
Yeah, also,
Yeah.
You know, as Ed's producer, Salita, I have to make sure of some things. You don't have anything that rhymes with Werpies, do you?
Werpies? You don't know a guy named Hiv Paz? Okay, good. Good. We just wanted to make sure of that. Salita, I'd say you're a winner, okay? We'll be getting back to you on the date, all right? Okay, I love you, babe. You too. Bye-bye. All right, Salita.
I want home movies, buddy.
Salita calling in. Okay, Rob Lowe.
I want a video of the. I'll come along and videotape it if you want.
Really?
I'll be like behind the plants.
Okay, it's 8:40. Jeez, it's 8:47.
I'll be the horse. It's pulling the carriage. I'll get one of them horse costumes.
Yeah, you'll be the horse's ass, damn it. 8:47. Quick news, quick sports. Let's go.
All right. Jim, are you still there?
I'm still there. Yeah.
Okay.
Literally and figuratively, are you still there?
Did you hear that whole thing?
No, I heard the whole segment there, yeah.
Okay, so had you ever heard, I mean, that was the way I met your mom.
Is that How I Met Your Mother? It's like the TV show.
Yeah. So are you impressed with my ability to woo a woman?
I'm slightly less impressed than I was beforehand. But nonetheless, still impressed.
Well, how much of the story do you want to tell about what happened with your mom and me? Yeah, because I used to tell.
I'm sorry, I have to pour my heart out.
Yeah, no, I used to tell people it was a really great story if everything works out okay. But if you if you end up divorced, everybody's like, "Well, how did you think this was going to end?" I mean, seriously, Ed, you're not thinking this one through.
Do we need to get you a couch for this segment to lie on?
If you will spoon me on it, that would be fantastic, Joe. And you make me feel good. And
Catholic University.
You can snuggle. It's okay for one man to snuggle another man, right, Jim?
Sister Jean on line 2.
So, Jim, I just wanted to bring you in because you are basically the child of WLUW. And as you could hear, you have at least 2 dads. If we count Joe. Joe and I are your daddies.
Don't be asking for any paternity payments here. I wasn't on the air during this. That was Tim McDermott and Tony Leota.
For the winner, yeah. I think you were there.
I was there for some of the preliminary, as I recall.
Right, for the germ of plant.
Final,
when the seed,
it was like the Sweet 16 or something. Like
Joe, when
like
the seed was planted so gently.
Okay. Sure.
You were there. So, Jim, you actually have 4 daddies. I just want to let you know that, okay? And, of course, there's nothing but love for you. My son, by the way, is studying filmmaking. He's at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee.
Terrific.
And what was your class schedule like today, Jim?
Today was my full day. I ran from about 9:30 in the morning all the way through 6 o'clock.
Oh, did you? Excellent. And how is the girlfriend?
She's good.
You know, she'd be more impressed if you had met her on the radio. I'll be honest with you.
Do they have a radio station there at your school?
They do. It's mostly an NPR rebroadcast station, but if you want to look into it, that's WUWM in Milwaukee. I think it's 89 something, but don't quote on that.
WUWM?
Okay.
That's correct.
Just when I thought WLUW was too hard to say. So,
I have a funny story about our call letters.
Oh, you do have a funny story. Jim, do you want to be on for that, or should I let you go, man?
Should we release Jim?
Okay, Jim.
I mean, I'd prefer to be released. Sorry.
So does everyone at Stateville.
Yeah. Okay, Jim, it was lovely to talk to you. It's my son.
Hey,
this is
and he is truly a product of. So all of you kids working here at WLUW, this probably breaks some rule that they now have about you can't pick up listeners.
Can't have sex with the listeners?
I was just going to say pick up listeners.
I married her first.
All right,
I want that to be clear right there.
There's probably an ethics rule now about that. So your grandfather didn't, no pun intended.
I'm putting the me in me too. Okay, right. Jim, I love you. Go to school.
Take care, Jim.
And
Thanks for playing along.
All right.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye now. Okay. Well, that wasn't uncomfortable for me at all.
So the WLUW. Okay.
Yes.
You do realize we landed at least one guest.
Yes.
Because they confused WLUW with WLUP.
Who was the guest?
The guys from the old show CNN Sports Tonight.
Oh! We attended the live taping of that.
One of them
passed away.
Yeah, Nick Charles,
unfortunately. Yeah, Nick Charles passed away.
But it was basically back in the day in Chicago when Chicago radio was really, full steam and very personality driven.
Oh, yeah.
people would come here to promote their shows and stuff. And so back then, CNN had a sports. CNN was not just news or fake news, depending on your political perspective.
Hey,
but
now.
it was they had a sports show at 10:30 every night that competed with SportsCenter. And quite honestly, a lot of us thought it was better. So they decided to do a week of shows or several shows here in Chicago at the Chicago Sports Hall of Fame. And somehow they had sent out a release about it saying we're going to be available. We're able to do live interviews at radio stations. So me, being the eager guy to fill programming, called up their publicist and just said, I'm with WLUW in Chicago. We'd like to have you there. And they're great. What's the address of your station? I gave them the address here on Pearson Street back when we were in the old building. And so that morning they show up, they get out of the cab. They come to the little building here on the campus. There's Nick, Fred, and the publicist. And they're like, we're looking for the radio station, WLU. This is it.
Yep.
And they're like looking around like, what is this?
When you taste asbestos in the air, you found the building.
They were expecting the Loop, which was, back in their heyday,
Yeah,
and they
LUP.
got us. They got a college radio station, but they were good sports about it. They did a great
really
show
were.
with us.
They really were.
And but that's we did land several guests by using by WLUW, WLUP confusion back in the day. So
we got some mail too.
Yes, we
I remember that Kevin. Who was the
Kevin Matthews?
Yeah, Kevin Matthews. I remember opening
Johnny
some of
B
his mail
and-
once.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got my Johnny B story. If you thought that guy was wired on the air, because my routine was always 4:30 in the morning. I'm up. I grab a quick shower and I head for the station. I run down to the corner and I put in the money for one newspaper. I grab 3. I bring them back to
That's why newspapers are going under now, thanks to you.
Bring it back to the studio, and then I would make coffee. I would fill out like everybody's weather and such. But there was one morning, my car, I don't know why I didn't have a car, so I took the train, got out at the Chicago Street Station. There's a little Dunkin' Donuts right there. And that was the Dunkin' Donuts right next to where Mailbox Mary used to hang out.
Oh, there's a whole
Yeah,
thing for
I
all the
know.
Loyola alumni to
Yeah, and
talk about.
Mailbox
Probably, again,
Mary-
not suitable for
Well,
Catholic
I do
Code
have a
radio.
Mailbox Mary story we can talk about later.
Okay.
So I get a couple of donuts and I walk out the door, and this like blur of a person fires by me, talking to himself, and it's Brandmeier.
Wow.
He's like,
And this is before cell phones.
It was. He's
So
talking.
he's not
to,
like on a
he's
Bluetooth.
He's like rehearsing his show at 5 a.m, walking down Chicago. And number one, why are you walking on Chicago Avenue when you're Jonathan Brandmeier? So Johnny B, give us a call if you're out there. Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. And for people who are wondering, okay, this high energy music format, what happened to it? Why aren't we listening to that right now? I was not going to play some, like every day is Halloween at 6 o'clock in the morning. So when I was moved from evenings up to the mornings, I thought, let's just see what we can do here. Luckily, I was paired with Joe, and he was really easy to talk to. He could find something funny, right? He could distill something
Most of the
funny
time. There were a few
out
days that were
of
fun.
everything. And after that, it was like the news staff almost started auditioning. They wanted to work mornings, because we're putting people on the air.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun, and usually we did something at least once a day, where Wayne Majars, who was was he the general? He was the
Wayne.
general manager.
Yeah, he was the GM.
Yeah, he would have to call us into the office and say,
There
guys,
would be,
you got to lay off on that. You can't talk like that.
Too much.
Yeah, too far. It was like if you got the 2-word sentence from Wayne, you were in trouble. Too far.
He would do that. No one will see it on the radio, but he did that. Come here with his finger. And you go down to the desk, and you knew.
You were about
there's
to be
a problem.
You're about to be schooled by one tall Polish guy. Yes. Do you remember what we did to his car that time? So Wayne had his car. It was like a white Honda Civic. It was parked in a garage that was near the studio.
He lived down there. He lived near the campus.
He lived here, but he kept his car, and it was incredibly dusty. He sent us to pick up his car. Big mistake. That was Wayne's problem right there. So he sent us to pick up his car and drive it back to the radio station, because apparently Joe and I, we do everything together. We go there and see
Good morning, team.
how dusty the car is, and we start writing things in the dust on the side. So we bring the car. I think it was on a Friday. Monday morning, Wayne does that, call him back into the office. I forget what we wrote, but apparently Wayne needed his car because he was going to go pick up his mom. And so he pulls to the curb. His mom opens the door and sees
I think it was more than just wash me we had written on there.
There were a couple of me's in there, but so that was that was wow. So Wayne, if you're out there, we'd love to get you back in here, man.
Sparks.
Yeah.
I think did we ever let out the secret of who Sparks was?
That he was Sparks.
Wayne, those of you who did listen, the three of you that's now listening, we had a character called Sparks. It was when things went wrong, we called in Sparks, the engineer.
Mm-hmm. Because things would.
This is when morning shows had bits and stuff. Unfortunately, that's kind of a lost art for the most part now.
It is. It's if you listen to like your Eric and the Kathy. If you listen,
and then you go to the Jewel.
I'm listening. So I've spent the last week listening to old air checks, and Tim McDermott, who also did news, and you heard him on that opening segment. He was definitely one of these guys there. Yeah. I'm gonna go talk. I'm gonna talk to that girl over there. Why don't you just go talk to her? You don't have to announce it with so many pronouns. Just go get in there. No, she's a pretty girl. I'm gonna go talk to her right over there. And then Tony Loyola was doing sports with us as well. Pete Galliano and a bunch of other people.
Quite a few.
We did. We had some wonderful people out there. There's some very talented people. So throughout our next, 2 hours, it's less than 2 hours now, of course.
It's 6:32 in Chicago.
All right, everybody.
28 degrees, according to my Apple Watch here, so.
Thanks.
I was giving time and temp.
Yeah. You found the brakes. you just put the brakes on.
Time and temp.
So until 8 o'clock, we're going to be sharing some memories of the morning show and trying to create some of the magic. We're going to be doing some animal stories. We also will celebrate socialism because we're on a college radio station. Right. We have to celebrate socialism.
We're part of the Chicago Radio Alliance here.
We're all comrades. The return of Knucklehead News is coming up. We're going to have lots of music only fit for college radio pre-Y2K. And latest news and weather and traffic is coming up, of course. But let's go back in the old time machine right now and see if we can check in on a segment we did on the news. I think Tim McDermott is with us, and he had a special guest in the studio.
It's a late 80s morning show flashback on WLUW.
7:17 right now on 88.7 FM.
We'll check after this.
Loyola Spotlight. You've probably seen it on official university documents or on the maroon and gold banners on Michigan Avenue. It's the new Loyola University Chicago signature mark. It takes elements from the university seal and its motto, "For the greater glory of God," in Latin, echoing the Loyola commitment to a liberal arts core in its curriculum. It's a new look for a university that's been around for some time, about 120 years. And that's what's happening at Loyola University of Chicago.
And Tim, if I could just... Tim, if I could just offer a quick endorsement here. I've been talking...
Mommy?
Mom's doing fine. Hold on, Ed's talking. Be quiet
Tim,
for a
you
second,
kidnapped this girl, haven't you?
Yes,
this
I
isn't
have.
your niece.
You should have seen
Take the duct tape off her
When we were
hands.
walking here, you should have seen the police following us just to make sure that I didn't kidnap her.
Well, she's calling...
Kidnapper, why don't you dong?
Okay, that's... little kids.
That was Joy Division with Love Will Tear Us Apart. I promised you music you were only going to hear on, college radio
High
stations.
energy.
Pre-Y2K. Well, not so much high energy. This would have been more like a...
Low energy?
No. The Saturday
Medium
night
energy?
Okay, Joe. All right. I got it. You're full of modifiers.
Sorry. My spin-off show's at 9.
I got it. Okay. The Saturday night, what was they called? The Saturday night dance party?
Oh yeah,
Jim
with
Lemon
and
and somebody else. Who was the woman that did that with him? And I remember when they freaked out because the radio station had abysmal air conditioning.
Yeah.
And actually, it was a building located on the same spot we are right now.
Yeah.
But it was like an
Pearson
old.
Street.
It was a 3-flat that was converted into offices on the top 2 floors. Doc Dana had the picturesque view on the 3rd floor. And an office filled with Asti Spumante.
Yes, and we're in the Doc Dana studio here.
Yes, we are. So, Doc, if you're listening out there,
have an Asti with us,
would you please? So we had terrible air conditioning, and the way that Loyola's physical plant responded was to bring in a portable unit.
I remember this.
And they put it in the bathroom because that was the only place we had an operable window in the studio area.
This bathroom was, we had one like a unisex bathroom.
We did. And it was in the middle of all the studios, so if you cranked one out, it was getting into...
You'd occasionally hear a flush on the air.
Studio A, B, and C, and especially with the air conditioner because you had to leave the door open.
And now you need like a pass, you need like a special card to get to the bathrooms here at this new place.
The first time that Jim Lemon came in and saw this portable air conditioner that was blowing hot air out, because, kids, I am a civil engineer, so I can tell you, you just exchange the heat. Right? It's blowing hot air all over these vinyl records that they stored in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Because they had no storage space. He drew, I don't even know how to describe his reaction.
Oh, no.
Screaming up and down the hallway, that they're ruining all this vinyl. So indeed, it's wonderful to be here in these brand new lovely studios. But... our time together has to be a celebration, a post-mortem of our time together. And something that we always like to do is pay homage to the radio people that came before or were actually on the air at the time.
And who better in Chicago
than Super Jock?
Than the late, great Larry Lujack. Anybody who ever did any comedy on the radio, any morning show bits, afternoon show bits, I don't care who they were or whatever, they aspired. We grew up listening to Uncle Larry Lujack, and Tommy Edwards, little Tommy, on good old WLS.
Right, and before that was CFL.
And CFL, yeah.
Which actually has a unique tie-in because we will be celebrating socialism later
Chicago
on today.
Federation of Labor.
That's right.
There you go.
WCFL's call sign came from the Chicago Federation of Labor. It was the voice of labor.
Yes.
Yeah. If Jim Geraci is out there listening, you were the best was he program director or was he...
He was something. I'm not sure.
He was station manager. I think Jim held the official title of station manager, but he always did a Super CFL show on Sunday nights.
Yeah, that's right. He was like the keeper of all things CFL.
And I remember my sister...
The station, not the labor movement.
My sister, who was 9 years older than I was, I mean, she listened religiously to CFL. And then, of course, that day when CFL went off the air and everybody was discussing what's going to happen now to Larry Lujack, and he had a contract, he had to stay on for a few months playing easy listening, music till he could get out of that and finally get over to WLS. But one of his great segments was animal stories. So and Larry,
we don't have the animal.
I don't. Oh, no, I don't. But we all knew that
trademarked
when you
WLS.
when you heard the wolf howling, you knew it was time for animal stories. And basically, what he would do is he would read these sort of, I remember one that he read about a sea turtle that had gotten injured. It was a mommy sea turtle and it was a daddy sea turtle.
You got to remember this was the 1970s and the 80s.
And they were doing this is actually a story about when a very young Ed Varga learned what a quickie was. And the sea turtles were doing what mommy and daddy sea turtles do when a fishing boat happened to come along. And the way the story went, the daddy sea turtle just sort of, he didn't really warn mommy sea turtle that a boat was coming.
Oh, no.
And as Larry said, I guess he decided to make it a quickie, and he finished and left her alone.
Is he going to be okay, Uncle Larry?
No, she wasn't. She's dead. So why don't we do a couple animal stories here?
I love it.
Yeah,
okay.
the first one, I think, actually...
delightful and charming, Uncle Ed.
For our own Brookfield Zoo fans...
There you go.
They just welcomed a brand new Dick.
A what?
A brand new.
That's the Tommy Edwards voice, by the way.
There you go. A male Dick was born June 4th, 2018 at Brookfield
Sister
Zoo.
Jean's on line 2 again, Ed.
If she really were, I would like to meet Sister Jean.
We love her. We love her. Final Four, baby.
Anytime I get to say Dick on the air and have
it's a real animal.
It is.
It is.
It's a male
DIK-DIK.
Kirk's Dick, born June 4, 2018 at Brookfield Zoo, weighing 1.5 pounds. It is one of the world's smallest antelope species. Thanks. I just wanted to say Dick. They actually reach 14 inches long at the shoulder, 14 inches high, which for a Dick, that's a pretty good size. Okay, so our next animal story comes out of Florida, where
careers are over after this.
Yeah, thank goodness they're paying us for this one. Homeless man was carrying a massive snake and rattled a Florida beach town. Was this the story you were going to read later on?
No, I wait.
You
do
sure?
we have this? Hold on.
I don't know.
We do have Florida has. We love the state of Florida for their
their news gathering abilities.
But they that's going to be one. But you can do it now. I've got more.
I think the interesting thing.
I got plenty of others to work with.
Yeah, is that a rattlesnake was thrown into the back of a Florida police car Monday morning after a homeless man was spotted carrying the nearly 8-foot reptile around Jacksonville Beach. Several concerned citizens called 911 about the incident, prompting officers to respond. Police Sergeant Larry Smith said police stopped the man and told him to throw the large snake into the back of their vehicle.
Dun, 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 dun.
I think when it comes to Florida police officers, that's probably standard procedure. Whatever you have that you're not supposed to have.
I think that's going to be a new reality show, Florida PD.
What's in the back of my police car? Police in Florida Wildlife said the man will not face charges, which is Florida, but officials want to remind people that
he's actually going to be running for senator next term.
Is it going to be okay? Officials want to remind people that it is illegal and dangerous to handle wild, venomous animals. The snake was relocated to a wooded area.
Thank goodness.
No injuries reported. And
so
finally,
he will be okay, Uncle Larry.
Yes, until some other homeless man grabs him and starts wearing them. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, if you were wondering what that wonderful, rich, delicious, buttery popcorn smell was that you're smelling, it might be a binturong. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Binturong?
I'll go with your pronunciation.
Yes, binturong, also known as a bear cat. It's neither a bear nor a cat. They are Southeast Asian mammals whose urine has a movie theater popcorn aroma. A study published in April found that this strange scent is produced by a chemical compound in their urine called 2-AP. The compound is the same substance that gives fresh popcorn its yummy smell. So when they ask, do you want butter flavor on your popcorn?
You might want to say no.
And that's Animal Stories.
With your delightful and charming... No, you're the delightful and charming.
Whatever. It's something like that.
I'm little...
I'm 52 years old now. And
you're still delightful and charming.
I am,
as far as I'm concerned.
But I do have that buttery popcorn smell.
You should see a physician about that.
Yes, we should. But also, it makes me think that a lot of the people who are listening to us right now are the same age as us.
Yeah.
Joe just celebrated a birthday.
Yes, I did.
And so I think we should probably play a song and then come back because we have health tips for aged WLUW alumni. That we want to make sure that we get out there for everybody.
It's a service of the alumni department here at Loyola. Ad majorem del gloriam.
Absolutely.
Good for your health.
Let's play some Smiths for you, and we'll be right back with health tips on WLUW.
The sun and the air all the shyness that is criminally vulgar. I am son and heir of nothing in particular. You should know, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to belong. particular. You shut your mouth, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to be loved, just like everybody else does. There's a club if you'd like to go. You could meet somebody who really loves you. So you go and you stand on your own, and you leave on your own, and you go home and you cry and you want to die. You say it's gonna happen now, but when exactly do you mean? See, I've already waited too long, and all my hope is gone. You shut your mouth, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to be loved, just like everybody else
And that was How Soon Is Now by the Smiths. Joe, dollar for dollar, I don't think you're going to find a better college radio station song than that one right there, my friend.
If you really want to sum up the music of college radio.
That's right. Play anything by the Smiths.
Yeah.
You remember their classic album, Meat is Murder. That's
absolutely.
We put that on around the house, have a little hoedown. It was.
You've got the good broadcasting voice right now.
I tell you what, I'm finally getting back into the groove of the whole thing here. It's been 30 years. Actually, for me, it's been about 26 years.
Yeah, because you went on and did some other stuff. We're going to talk about that later, right?
Yeah. We'll talk about exploits in radio and how you become an embittered older man. Well, right there.
I hope you're not embittered tonight.
Hey, thank you, Jesus, for bringing me here tonight on Catholic radio. We could do it, Joe. We could do it. We do a Christian revival.
No. We've got to keep. We're here as guests of Loyola University.
Yes, well, which is a Catholic university,
Jesuit to be precise.
Yeah, absolutely.
And has enjoyed enormous success.
Yes.
That we never saw on the basketball court.
Did we have a basketball? Yes, I know.
We did.
I know we had a basketball team.
We broadcast once. We used to broadcast the women's basketball games, which were great. We loved the women's team.
Yeah, it was good.
But I do remember we had a promo during the game where I believe it was Jeff Hagedorn. Was doing the games. Who's gone on? He's here with the university again. He was doing play-by-play during the Final Four on one of the networks for the alternative broadcast. So Jeff's had a great career after that. But Jeff was doing the play-by-play for a women's game, I believe, and said 10th caller at whatever our radio station number was back then would get a free T-shirt, and we had no callers. We gave away the shirts to our friends.
It was unfortunate. But I remember working with Jeff, and I would have to board op for him because when I started at LUW full-time, I was just sitting there in the evenings. And, I liked talking to 13-year-old girls on the phone and putting their silliness on the air.
I'm calling the police now.
But then, of course, it was when we did basketball, and we had a sponsor, but because it was non-commercial, you couldn't really call it a sponsor. But it was the cold draft, or what was that?
It was one of the dry beers, old style
dry.
dry.
Dry. Yeah,
I think they don't even exist anymore.
Right, and that
they had that cool commercial with "Every Day Is Halloween."
Yeah, that Ministry song.
Which this station I think played
and
to
so
death.
Bop, 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 bop. And I'd have to play
like
that going in, and they're like, and now let's go join Jeff Hagedorn with Ramblers basketball. And
Ramble on, baby.
I would sit there reading. I was sitting there reading a magazine while that was happening.
But they've come a long way. They're a great team now.
They really are. And Joe actually asked me, what would we have done differently had we been on the air at the time?
Oh,
can
you imagine?
We did do something once with a sportscaster. An athlete. We called him in his hotel room.
Yeah,
do you recall
1989, the Cubs were in the playoffs. This is back when you only had 4 teams in the playoffs, the NLCS, against the San Francisco Giants. And the pitcher that night was Rick Russell, who used to play for the Cubs. But he was pitching for the Giants. And somehow, I think somebody on our staff got the number for the hotel. So we called him 7 or 8 in the morning. Woke him up. And then that night, he didn't make it out of the first inning. He got shellacked. It was the one. Unfortunately, the Cubs got eliminated in the NLCS that year, but that was the one game that they won, and I think that was our finest hour here in Chicago.
It was.
We helped the Cubs win a playoff
soldiers. Game. We were soldiers, and of course, got the call into Wayne's office. It's like, don't do that again. Don't, because
you also called Don Zimmer once, didn't you?
The problem that we have in radio is there actually was a court case that went to this. You'd have these jocks who would call people up, and as soon as they answered, they would say, "Hey, you're on the air." And that used to be enough to put their voice on the air without their permission. But then there was this court thing, and now all of a sudden we had to have their permission to put them on the air.
Which no one would give.
Right, and it's not that they would give it, but once a day we would play this little pre-recorded thing that said, calls to 88.7 FM are considered consent to broadcast. And that meant if you call our number, guess what, buddy? We're putting you on the air. But again, those are stories from so long ago. And I was saying to Joe that most of the people listening right now are probably, I'm guessing, alumni that actually worked at the radio station with us. But of course, other listeners out there, we're glad to have you along for the ride. But that means that we're all kind of in our 50s right now.
Yes.
And I thought it'd be very important that Joe and I would do what we can to help out the health of our fellow alumni. So, Joe, if you could pick up that script there. I know it's going to be a cold read for you there, buddy. But really, there's some very important things that have to happen when you turn 50. So Joe and I are going to do a little radio play right now, kids. And it's okay. This is educational.
If any members of my family are listening, tune away for a few minutes.
But this is important. This is health news. So this is actually a radio play, and I think we get the audio right now. I'm sure they'll play it in regular rotation around here once we're gone.
It's a public service announcement.
It is. It's a
They have a whole medical center out in Maywood just for this. Loyola has, at the forefront of medicine.
We have a
sponsor. This was put together by their staff.
If only. So this is a radio play. Now, I will be playing the part of Ed, and Joe, you will be playing the part of Joe.
I think I can handle it.
So imagine, if you will, we would. Oh, sorry. There's some college kids are out there in the lobby.
We can't close the door.
We can't close the door.
They're watching us.
The door doesn't. Yeah, I think they are. Maybe are they supposed to be on at 7? I don't know. Hey, we got the room signed up till 8.
Olivia's supposed to be on at 7. I hope somebody told her.
I really do, because otherwise she's gonna be a little upset that we've
Sorry,
done this to
Olivia.
her. Okay, so I will play the part of Ed. Joe, you play the part of Joe.
Okay.
And this is our radio play about colonoscopies. Hey, Joe, would you like to play some basketball with me and the other middle-aged dads in my neighborhood?
I can't today, Ed. I'm worried about hurting my rectum.
Why would you be worried about that?
Well, I just turned 50, and my doctor wants me to get a colonoscopy. Since I'm going to have a camera pushed up into my body, I didn't want to do anything too strenuous that might cause swelling down there.
Oh, Joe, you really don't have to worry about that. Colonoscopies are easy these days. The cleanse is fun, and they give you lots of drugs to help you forget that a 5-foot-long tube is being inserted into your body by a room full of strangers wearing masks.
5 foot? Is that all?
Plus, afterward, you get to eat all the ice cream you want.
I thought that was for tonsillectomy.
No, you're wrong. Now let's go shoot some hoops.
I'm going to be just like a colonoscopy on the court, pushing past everything in my way to take it to the hoop.
50-year-old alumni health tip with Joe and Ed.
So I think...
Again, brought to you by Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood. On the forefront of medicine.
I think they could work with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like a colonoscopy on the court, pushing past everything, going for the hoop.
Seriously, you don't want to miss. Give it that way. We're here to save lives. We're as the late great Wally Phillips would used to say, we're people helping people.
We really are. We really are, and we try to do that as often as possible. Oh, so it's 7 o'clock. Let's take care of some legal business right now and do this.
Backed by the divine power of St. Ignatius of Loyola and a 100-watt transmitter that would barely keep your toast warm, it's Ed Varga and Joe Weiss, live from the studios of WLUW Chicago.
Oh, it's always good to be back. It's been 30 years since Joe and I were on the air together.
Feels like 60.
So we should do this in another 30 is what you're saying right there. The wonderful anomaly of radio here at Loyola University, 2 campuses in Chicago, the Lakeshore and the Water Tower campus. And the transmitter is located at one and the studio's at the other, and we can't pick up the air signal because our 100-watt transmitter
is in Rogers Park.
A little bit on the weak side. So now that we've got the internet, of course, we could be
broadcasting worldwide.
Absolutely.
People in New Zealand are listening to us and cursing America.
New Zealand. Okay.
I don't know why I picked New Zealand.
I don't know either.
We're on the air.
I don't know either. I tell you what, why don't we go back in time a little bit here, and let's pick up on another one of your classic news stories.
Oh, boy.
Along with Tim McDermott. Let's listen in now.
It's a late 80s morning show flashback on WLUW.
High Energy Radio, 88.7 FM, Company B with Sign in Your Book of Love. Duh, if you couldn't figure out the title by now.
Guess you're pretty slow on the draw on that one.
Well, it's early in the morning, Ed. It's only 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but that doesn't prevent us from bringing you the hard-hitting news. Of course, Dear Diane and Jeff Zaslow, the Daily Double today.
and Dear Ed.
And Dear Ed, which we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on doing that with the Sun-Times where they'll just put my answers in. They won't put the letters. They'll just put my answers
It'll be
in.
like in the Midwest edition.
Yeah. They'll just do a little box inset like right below their two pictures. And,
Ed says.
Yeah. An answer for the day, but no question.
Brought to you by Diet Mountain Dew.
And
no sweat.
Daily Double question for the day. I've been dating 2 women for quite some time. They don't know about each other. Now, by horrible coincidence, both are pregnant. Oh no!
Ding 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 ding.
This is a tremendously fertile guy. This is the worst bind I could imagine. I feel like my life is caving in.
Well, it is.
What can I do?
It's not what you can do, it's what you should have done.
Or what he already did. He's obviously more than dating these 2 women. That would be terrible. Honey, meet Sheila. Sheila, meet Barbara. You 2 are both pregnant.
Okay, Ed.
This guy, no luck at all. Both women at the same time.
Dear Diane's answer is...
Run for your life.
No, that's Zaz's answer.
Oh, Diane, typical woman's answer here. It wasn't a horrible coincidence.
You're making friends.
That made the 2 women pregnant. It was good old irresponsible you.
Oh.
Now what? Work out your relationship with each of the women and decide how to provide the 2 children you are bringing into the world. Conceiving children is serious business. Too bad you didn't figure that out earlier.
Mr. Marshmouth. Mr. Marshmouth.
That's me. I'll admit I'm Mr. Stupid in the morning.
I'm just your...
Here we go. And Zaz's answer, now you're in a league with Steve Garvey. That's nice.
Gee, what a compliment.
Nice. Yeah.
And Ed says,
leave town. Go to Idaho.
You fool, leave town.
That's
and he'll
right.
fit in Idaho real good.
Mm-hmm. Perfectly.
His kind of state.
Living that wild life they live only in Idaho. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, time for news. Here's Joe Weiss.
Showers if possible.
Now, Joe, this was your question, wasn't it? You're dating 2 women that are pregnant right now, right?
I thought we wouldn't discuss this.
Is that what Joe's suitcases are doing out in the lobby?
Yes,
He's leaving right after the news.
Joe,
Yes.
at least I'm giving you credit for liking women now. Come on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Remember when you used to say how you got by?
No.
And we just agree? Yeah. You do
Once
get by.
Once again, my attorney.
I'm Staten Randolph.
My
That's where you
attorney
usually get by.
My attorney is preparing the summons for you.
Well,
at like $100 an hour.
I see no legal basis here, Joe.
Oh, it's just going to be a nuisance suit.
How can I explain when there are few words I can choose? How can I explain when words get broken? Do you remember there was a time when people on the street were walking hand in hand in hand?
WLUW 88.7 FM, and that is Erasure with Chains of Love.
Love that song.
Welcome back to Ed Varga and Joe Weiss 30 years later, and we're still very much in love. So here we go. There's nothing but love between us.
It's you feel the love here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
We love being back here at Loyola.
There you go.
At WLUW.
Perfect. That was good. You got me out of that hole.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joe.
That's what I'm here to, that was what I did quite often in the morning.
Yes, I do apologize to anyone who was offended by anything that you're hearing this morning. Please keep this evening.
We're recreating a morning show in the evening.
Oh yeah, good morning, everybody.
We can't get up that early anymore. We're too old.
The sheer fact, you're hearing stuff that we did 30 years ago on the air here at WLUW. So really, it's a reoffense. It's not a first offense for you. This stuff's already been in the airwaves around you for these many years. Now, it was something, being here at WLUW back in the day. I don't know why I want to keep saying the call letters, even though they're so incredibly hard to say quickly.
88.7 FM.
There you go, 88.7 FM, high energy radio. I went on to Waukegan after I left here.
To a radio station in Waukegan.
To a radio.
Okay, let's clarify that.
Yes, I was in Park City, and I'm just trolling the trailers in Park City looking for half-used
that radio
cigarettes.
station's still there. It's,
it is. WXLC is still up there.
They were Lake County's
hot 102.3,
and so we would be Cook County's hot 88.7. If you recall that little.
I don't know why when you say Cook County's hot, it's like something else wants to come out.
They were Lake County's hot 102.3, so we were Cook County's hot 88.7.
And I spent a few years up there.
Didn't quite carry over well.
And honestly, it were interesting times. I'm sure management is completely different right now. But there were a few years I rose quickly to being that guy that did fill-ins all the time. So if they needed a jock, to do like a week, boom, they'd give me a call, and I would be there, and I would do the whole week. Now, here's the amazing part about WXLC, and I don't know if it's still same ownership up there, but there was a consortium that had like 6 radio stations on the East Coast and 1 in Waukegan.
Oh, no.
Right? And the only way they would promote air staff was internally. And I forget what the radio station's call sign was. They were Norfolk, Virginia. And all I could think is, man, I would love to be saying that every day. And they were looking for a morning guy. And I thought, well, I've got
morning Norfolk.
See, when you put a big L in there, I don't think that's how they say it on the East Coast, Joe. I really don't think so.
Sorry.
And they would only promote from the inside. And to interview for the position, I had to be recommended. The GM up there was a former produce manager for a grocery store chain that had gone out of business.
Oh, boy.
And his office was unique. His desk was actually
Couldn't sell enough lemons.
His desk was in a corner of his office on a pedestal. So when you came in, he was actually a little bit higher than you. And he told me flat out, Eddie, we'd like to recommend you. We think you're pretty good. You're pretty talented, but we need you here. And I thought, wait a second, you need me here? Well, maybe you're not going to have me here. And indeed, I lost all interest in radio at that point. I had to go marry a woman that I had met on the air at WLUW and get my life started. And, from there, I became a professional engineer and spent a good number of years working with my dad. And it was just a life that wasn't meant to be. Little did I know that, radio might become a little less significant to everybody's daily grind.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because
video killed the radio. The internet killed the radio star.
I'm thinking you're absolutely right. Joe wanted to do a little traffic though. If anybody's out there driving around listening to us,
my very first, my very first time on WLUW was fall of 1988. It was the afternoon show, I don't remember who all was on except Jeff Hagedorn. We talked about Jeff earlier, who was truly one of the greatest WLUW success stories. He went on to a great career. I think he was the voice of, I want to say, the Orlando Magic or one of the NBA teams and stuff, and now he's back here at Loyola doing great things. So my first introduction on radio was Jeff wrapping up sports, and then you would start as an intern here, and you would be assigned the traffic report. So it was the afternoon drive or the morning drive, and so your first entry into the station was doing the traffic report, which back then meant we sat with a little radio in a side studio with a cassette, and we would record. I think we can give the secret away now.
Sure, go ahead.
We would record the traffic on the 8s from WBBM News Radio 780, 78 back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we would record it, and then we'd have these little forms
It was a
that
fill
we'd
in the
fill
blank.
out.
Yeah.
You'd write number of minutes, and if there was an accident on the Edens or the Kennedy and stuff. And what really cracked me up is we would also give the traffic for like the Eisenhower and the Stevenson, and it dawned on me one day, our transmitter didn't go there. No one listening to our show could care less about an accident on the Kingery Expressway on the south side. I mean, it was...
So how's the Kingery looking tonight, Joe?
So here I go. I unfortunately can't... I wasn't able to pull up our friends at WBBM, and they'd probably sue if we did now. But so I've got the. I think this is from the our friends at the Illinois Department of Transportation on the internet.
Good people. Yeah.
So Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Jane Byrne interchange, which we called the Circle interchange back in the day.
We did.
26 minutes. Outbound reversible Ohio from Ohio to Montrose, just 7 minutes. And outbound Kennedy from Montrose to O'Hare, just 10 minutes. The Edens Expressway, inbound from Deerfield to the Jane Byrne interchange. I still want to call it the Circle interchange. The Circle.
Is that near the Spaghetti Bowl?
That is, which they're now redoing it. Yeah. Traffic mess. That's 35 minutes. Edens Lake Cook to the junction, 33. Dempster to Montrose is 10. I'm just kidding. Like anybody listening cares about that. But I will give the Kingery Expressway time.
Once again, you're listening to the alumni takeover of WLUW.
Kingery, and we used to do it really well. That was how you were judged. You know, if you listen to, and the traffic reports still on like WBBM are pretty thorough like that. But that was the Bishop Ford, which didn't exist back then, is 27 minutes from I-80 to the Jane Byrne. And the Kingery inbound from State Line to I-94, just a mere 9 minutes.
We are people helping people, Joe.
We are, so please drive safely.
What we're doing right there. But, you know, we are on a college radio station, and I understand from my son that we have to celebrate socialism. Because we are on a college radio station.
Chicago Radio Alliance.
And so, Comrade Joe, how are you?
Joseph Stalin?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so fitting, too, that Bernie Sanders chose today to throw his
That's
hat
right, he's in.
right back in the ring for he's running in the
well,
it is a diverse group of candidates in the Democratic Party, and as few of them stand out like old Bernie here. So I thought we would celebrate socialism with Bernie Sanders and do a few fun facts about Bernie. Did you know Bernie Sanders lost his first election ever, Joe?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that was he ran for student body president in high school. And I can't picture a guy more smooth with the ladies back in high school.
If I'm elected, free lunch.
Pencils? We should have pencils. Give the students pencils. He actually married Deborah Messing. Now, that can't be the woman from Will and Grace, can it?
No, it can't.
In 1966, he married a woman named Deborah Messing, divorced her 18 months later.
Oh, no.
Then had a son with his girlfriend. In 1969, that was with Susan Mott, you remember.
Oh, sure.
Of course. And then he remarried in
Wait, that's the year I was born. 1969. What are you saying?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. And he remarried in... Joe, he's your father. And remarried in... No!
How are you? Bernie Sanders.
He remarried in 1988 and has 3 more sons with his wife. We all remember that when he was running last time, Ben & Jerry's made a flavor called Bernie's Yearning, which, I don't know, yearning? That's like a romance novel term right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go have some Bernie's Yearning in my loins. And he actually, when he was in high school, the piece of information I found said he was a track star and a basketball player, quite a good basketball player.
That'd be quite, if someone could pull up, of course there probably was no video back then. The guy's 77 years old, God bless him. But
yes, indeed. So if he got elected, he'd be 79 when he takes office. Oldest president.
Yep.
Oldest
beating
man
the current one in age.
Yeah, indeed. But he also, in 1979, voiced a documentary about renowned socialist which was Eugene Debs. So do you want to hear a little bit of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good education
we
here
have
for the
to do
students
that
at
right
the
here.
university.
It is very probable, especially if you are a young person, that you have never heard of Eugene Victor Debs.
As we had not.
If you are the average American who watches
is
television
him.
40 hours
This
a
is
week,
him.
you have probably heard of such important people as Kojak and Wonder Woman, have heard about dozens of different kinds of underarm spray deodorants, every hack politician in your state, and the latest game between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Strangely enough, however, nobody has told you about Gene Debs, one of the most important Americans of the 20th century. Why? Why haven't they told you about Gene Debs and the ideas he fought for?
Bernie.
The answer is simple. More than a half-century after his death, the handful of people who own and control this country, including the mass media and the educational system,
That would be us.
still regard Debs and his ideas as dangerous, as a threat to their stability and class rule, and as someone best forgotten about.
Debs for president!
Let the wealth of the nation belong to all the people and not just the millionaires.
Okay,
So that's the modern Bernie at the end.
There we go. Yeah, that was him.
He's come a long way.
He has actually, and I have some current audio of him too. If you want to hear, this was a recent thing he did with Anderson Cooper.
Senator Sanders, how are you?
I'm good. I'm hungry, but I'm good. And now, if you don't mind, I'm going to dial it right up to a 10. We're doomed. We need a revolution. Millions of people on the streets. And we got to do something. And we got to do it now. Yeah.
Senator Sanders, some of your opponents believe regulating Wall Street is enough. What is your position on the big banks?
Not a fan of the banks. They trample on the middle class. They control Washington. And why do they chain all their pens to the desks? Who's trying to steal a pen from a bank? Makes no sense. That's why you gotta break up the banks into little pieces and then flush the pieces down the toilet so you can never put the banks back together. Then you just make the bankers pay for college for everyone and America's fixed. What's the deal with emails anyway? I forgot my password the other day, so they say we'll email you a new one. But I can't get into my email to get the password. I mean, talk about a ball buster. I'm the only candidate up here who's not a billionaire. I don't have a super PAC. I don't even have a backpack. I carry my stuff around loose in my arms like a professor, between classes. I own one pair of underwear. That's it. Some of these billionaires, they got 3, 4 pairs. And I don't have a dryer. I have to put my clothes on the radiator. So who do you want as president? One of these Washington insiders? Or a guy who has one pair of clean underwear that he dries on a radiator? BernieSanders.com. Check it out. It's a mess.
Well, finally I was sure, like my head on the door was a dream.
FM, and that was The Cure with Close to Me. Again, Joe, this is some college radio music. It just cannot be beat in the summertime in Chicago.
I feel like I have to write a term paper tonight. Meet some friends over at Leona's or somewhere here on the Rogers Park campus. It's still there, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah, there's a few things still up there.
How old are your kids now? Do you mind saying how old they are?
I have a 14-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter.
Okay, so the son is going to be the first one you have to take to colleges and start touring. Since my son Jim is probably not listening anymore, I can tell you the fact of this matter. The first time I took him to a college to actually tour it was University of Michigan in Ann Arbor.
Oh,
which is a rival of the University of Illinois at Champaign. Funny story: my dad had only gone to one homecoming ever since he graduated from U of I. And so we go to the football game, and I'm following this kid in line, and I finally read what his shirt says. Now, this is not me making a statement about anybody in person, but his shirt, hilarious, because it was an orange T-shirt, and the front of the shirt had the U of I logo on it. And on the backside, Ann Arbor is a whore. Was on there.
Yeah, you still see a lot of that.
Wow, this is fantastic. So I got a picture with him, of course. And so I took my son to University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. We were driving through for whatever reason. The school was so massive, he actually cried. And I think he was about 14 years old because he was thinking, Dad, how am I going to make it from class to class in the passing period?
Remember, this is the team, unfortunately, that eliminated Loyola in the Final Four.
Yes, indeed.
Spring.
So I guess
Michigan,
they earned their title.
Oh, go blue. I mean, and then they got creamed by Villanova. Yes. I'm doing a little sports here.
Anything else?
Since we couldn't get Tony Leota or Pete Galliano or
anything else
Jeff
you want to talk
Hagedorn
about
here.
sports? Who was the guy that just got signed by Baltimore? Was it
Baltimore?
The pitcher. The Sox really wanted him. What is it?
Oh, Machado?
There you go.
Got signed by San Diego.
San Diego, thank you very much, Joe.
And we'll have more sports coming up in our next half hour.
Sandwich is a sandwich, but a manwich is a meal. Here's Joe.
If Tony Leota was listening, we could have him call in or...
but he always did angry sports.
Yeah. Jeff Hagedorn probably was the best.
Jeff would be completely professional about that, just like we're going to be completely professional because it's time once again for another PSA where we are going to help you students out there who are now old graduates. And so, Joe, if you would grab your script, please. And
Here
we're
we
about
go.
to do a cold read again for Loyola University Medical Center.
Yes, in Maywood. On the cutting edge of medicine.
At the forefront?
Forefront,
cutting edge?
That might be Northwestern slogan. I'll Google it later. They got to, we didn't even have Google when we were on the air. So can you imagine the fun we would have had with the internet next to us?
We had typewriters.
Yeah, we
did.
In
the studio, we had typewriters. I remember the day when we actually had, because we had the teletype machine.
Rip and read.
Yeah. So there's a dot matrix printer, in the background. And
breaking news from Dallas: shots have been fired at President Kennedy's motorcade. That was kind of like what.
But that's the
technology.
People are going to think that really just happened.
No.
So,
I mean, that was the technology. We were still using the same technology.
And right before I left is when they got the PC in Studio C that was tied into the Associated Press.
Yes.
So then you got to go and actually choose your stories in a completely incomprehensible, non-graphical user interface screen. It was like hot pink.
Yeah,
and
I do remember this.
You'd have to print them out on demand.
So it's come a long way. Now they just, just go online here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
pretty much.
These kids today, they don't know how
you
good they
don't
have it
need
at the
radio for news. You don't need radio for traffic. You've got it in your pocket.
Fast facts, instant world.
Absolutely. Podcasts, guess what? Joe and I were doing 5 days a week. We were doing podcasts. Yeah. Every morning was like this. And it really took its toll on me and my health. But...
And that's why we've got this health. Let's bring it back to the health.
Thank you, Joe. You see, I've done the whole.
I'm
you
here to help. Yes.
Okay, so again, for Loyola University, for all the grads out there around their 50s, this is a radio play that we like to call Prostate Self-Exam. Again, I play Ed, you play Joe.
Got it.
All right, you got that?
I'm ready.
Hey, Joe, why do you look so down?
Well, I just turned 50, and the internet says I need a prostate exam, but I don't have health insurance. It's really got me bummed out.
No need to feel bad, old friend. You can examine your own prostate. I'll show you.
Great, Ed. I feel better already.
If you feel good now, just wait until we're finished. Lucky for you, I read the 9-step prostate self-examination guide on WikiHow, so I'm pretty much an expert.
What's the first step?
Well, step 1 is consider having a doctor do this instead of a friend. But let's skip that one and go right to step 2, which is assuming the correct position. Here, lay on your side and pull your knees towards your chest.
Like this?
It should be noted Joe is actually doing it.
Well,
you're a method actor.
It's right. My first love was the stage.
Okay, perfect, Joe. This helps with step 3, examining the skin for abnormalities. That's one clean engine room you've got down there, Joe.
Thanks, Ed. What's step 4?
Well, now I put on a sterile glove. Can you reach under my car seat? I keep a box of them down there.
I found it. Plus a bottle of something called KY. Sister Jean's on the line. She's actually outside. She's not happy.
That's for step 5 of an actual WikiHow article. It's time to lubricate is the name of that step.
Hurry up so we can get to step 6.
Here we go.
And before Wayne comes in and stops us.
Here we go. My finger is now feeling the walls inside of you for any abnormal lumps or bumps that could indicate the presence of tumors or cysts.
This is a dramatization, by the way. Just can I feel this? I can feel this prostate self-exam really working, Ed.
Step 7 says to feel the wall towards your belly button for any irregularities.
Why feel that?
Well, because that's your prostate. You've got a nice prostate there, Joe.
I've been told that before. I can't wait for step 8. Please hurry.
Step 8 of this actual article on WikiHow is for me to remove my finger and dispose of the glove I'm wearing. They actually felt it necessary to clearly state that the finger must be removed and the glove disposed of.
That's why Loyola is at the forefront of medicine for that. Sounds like the internet is being its usual comprehensive and intelligent self.
And finally, step 9 is to follow up with your doctor. Take it from Joe and Ed. The next time you have to do a prostate self-exam, hold up 10 fingers to remember the 9 steps, plus the 1 finger that bears the dark memory of what just happened.
50-year-old alumni health tip with Joe and Ed.
So,
oh my gosh!
All you kids out there that are, you're not kids anymore.
No,
you're not kids.
This is, we joke about this, but you kids one day will be 52.
Joe, well, I am 52. Thank you. Joe, have you?
We'll be like 90. We'll be like 80.
Yeah, something like that. Have you had your prostate exam yet, by the way?
I'm scheduled for that soon.
Have you had your colonoscopy yet, Joe?
No.
Okay. Just here's the favor I ask of you.
Yeah.
Have someone hide your phone, because when it's done, I felt the compulsion to actually do like a live Facebook thing while I was still. My son, Jim, who we talked to at the beginning of the show, drove me to the hospital because you're not going to be driving yourself home from the hospital.
And just for the record, Loyola Medicine's slogan is, "We also treat the human spirit."
Thank you very much for
And they
cleaning
do
that
it
up.
very well. So in Maywood,
So when I was
LoyolaMedicine.org.
When I was all done with my colonoscopy, my son was nowhere to be found. Because apparently he had taken my car and just split.
That's like I remember in college. I don't know if I was on the air with you yet. I had my wisdom teeth pulled.
I don't remember that, but I remember the time that you had to give the exam for the health insurance.
I do.
So, hang on, let me finish my thing up first. So, because my son wasn't there, and the nurse kept coming back and saying, do you have his phone number? Can we try and call him? I said, I've got my phone right here. But and as I said that, I realized I had already started doing a Facebook Live video feed where I was indeed doing this PSA of, hey guys, really, it's no big deal. You should have your prostate checked. You're not going to feel a thing, and they give you cookies after it's done, and it's all a wonderful thing. So I remember the time you got your exam for
not prostate. No. This was when I was like 20.
But a nurse came to the radio station. And because we did everything together, I watched.
Well, you didn't watch everything.
No, I watched as the preliminaries were going on, and then she gave you the cup for a urine sample.
I went to the single-use bathroom. That had the records from the Saturday night dance party on the shelves. So I hope I didn't ruin any of Jim's records.
No, they just lost self-respect. So I heard some kind of a noise, and I don't know why I was waiting outside the door for you.
You were just making sure everything was going right.
And I heard a noise, and I said, is everything okay? And I heard you laugh back through the door. So you eventually came out, and now there's a crowd, and we're waiting to see what happened to Joe's urine sample in there. It was so rough. The way you described it, I'm sure they still talk about it at Physical Plant around here at Loyola, the cleaning job had to do. But apparently there was some blowback. There was a little too much energy.
The cup was very small. And I'd been on the air all morning, usually get some coffee for the show.
Yeah.
And, I filled the cup up faster than I thought I would. We'll stop there for university's integrity here.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
And Majorium Deo Gloriam.
So I know way too much about Joe. I really do. What time is it? Oh my God, do we go home yet?
Oh my goodness. 7:38. When is who's coming in after?
I don't know who's coming in after us, but I think it's time that we do another memory of
Nikhil G.
Nikhil
coming
G?
in at 8.
Okay, it's coming in at 8 o'clock.
With hopscotch.
I don't. What is that? If somebody knows, please call the request line and let us know what's going on.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it's a fine quality show.
I'm sure it is. In the meantime, let's have another flashback from our morning show days.
It's a late 80s morning show flashback on WLUW.
All state.
Can we call a timeout on sports for a second?
Sure.
Okay, because we got this guy Robert on the phone. Robert, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, Robert, you can do the Tom and Jerry scream, right? Robert, do it for me.
All right.
Here we go.
Ready?
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yes! 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 Robert! Yes!
How long did it take you to learn how to do that?
Robert, how long, dude? How long did it take to learn?
Well, I was watching Tom and Jerry since I was a little kid, so...
How old are you now? You sound like you're about 10, no offense, but...
14.
14, it's your birthday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where are you calling from, Robert?
My house.
Robert, can you... Thank you. I'm calling from a cardboard box that my parents kicked me out. Robert, can you do that one more time for us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, do it. Robert, happy birthday, dude, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
There's no sense in telling me the wisdom
That is Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order on 88.7 FM.
High Energy 88.7 FM.
It is the alumni takeover. And
sound like our colleagues.
Which one of our colleagues sounded like that? Well, yeah, that's true.
They had a lot more energy than we did.
They did. Steve Burrell, we've been following him. Who else? Joe
Garrity.
Joe Deflin, Tim Garrity.
Joe Deflin.
Yeah.
And I think some of the 80s guys are coming back next week.
They are. Friday night, I think. Isn't it the Hitline or the Metro Music?
So a lot of great stuff. So, definitely check it out. And for those of you WLUW alumni, there is a Facebook group that you can join.
Right. And perhaps, Joe, you could spearhead the alumni takeover of the news staff.
Yeah.
And you guys could just come in. You could Walter Cronkite this all over this place.
We get our
here.
whole crew. Of course, Susan Carlson, who's now doing great things at NBC5.
Right. And Susan, who I got to work with not only at LUW, but also up at WXLC. And many great things happened in her career as well. So, Sue, if you're out there listening, hey, we're thinking about you. Boy, we just brought it right. It's like she died. Like we did the in memoriam section here.
She's alive and well.
Yeah, sure. But something that Joe and I used to do all the time because the news staff love nothing better than to break up their day.
This was it.
By finding a bunch of weird stuff to kind of talk about, and so we turned that into a segment that was called Knucklehead News. And so Knucklehead News, of course, has to come with its own music.
Here we go.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, from the great big city of Chicago, around the world, around the block, around the corner, around the clock, we've got Joe Weiss with Knucklehead News.
Okay, Ed, here we go. A 4-foot-tall car thief managed to drive a mile before crashing his Pompano Beach, Florida neighbor's Toyota Corolla into a fence.
That's not is the Corolla going to be okay?
I don't think so.
Hold on. What? 4 foot tall?
4 foot tall. Here,
Okay.
keep listening.
I'm listening.
There's more. The 11-year-old boy, who was unhurt, thank goodness,
of course,
ditched the car and ran to his school, Charles Drew Elementary, where deputies arrested him. He faces charges of grand theft auto and leaving the scene of a crash. He's not being named by, this story comes from the Orlando Sun Sentinel, so they're not naming him due to his age.
Being that they're in Florida, they have to be very busy.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
All you got to do for this, if we had the internet back then with Knucklehead News, we'd just Google Florida man and we'd have half our stories. And I love Florida. Taxes are low, temperature high.
I have some in-laws down there.
Yeah, great place.
Last time I went to visit them, they had to call the maintenance department of their gated community because there was a large black snake on their lanai. So...
I've got. Do you want more of this one?
You know what? Go to the next one.
Go to the next.
Go to the next one.
Want
We're
this
running
one?
out of time. It's almost 8 o'clock.
Okay, this is okay. Yeah, we better hurry here.
Yeah.
Mikhail's giving her Mikhail. I don't know who that is.
Ringo and the what is the name of the show?
It's Recess with Hopscotch.
Recess with
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch. There you go.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one. 2 people were arrested after a North Carolina man allegedly had $10,000 and his pants stolen from him as he was preparing to have sex with a woman he had just encountered while his girlfriend waited downstairs.
Oh, wow. Where did this happen?
North Carolina.
The Florida of the Carolinas.
Yes. Bryce Mason, age 23.
Oh, come on. Where's he getting $10,000?
And his girlfriend, Gracelyn Bradbury. If that's not a Carolina name, I don't know what is.
Gracelyn. Yeah, her mother had such high hopes for her on the pageant tour.
Were arrested in connection with the January incident. Randleman police were still searching for Brandon Cook. Christopher Hendrick told police he had the money stolen from him as he was getting ready to have intercourse with a woman, according to the Courier Tribune. There's several newspapers chiming in on this story.
Yes,
down
it looks
there.
like it, yeah.
Big news in North
Everybody
Carolina.
wanted to get this.
Hancock reportedly told authorities he had an open relationship with his girlfriend. A little too open, apparently. Hancock and the new woman went into a bedroom
downstairs.
And got together. I'm sanitizing this for
Thank you, please.
for the Jesuits.
Thank
here.
you, please.
When the 2 men allegedly attacked him and choked him until he blacked out. Good grief. And when he regained consciousness, he called authorities and told them $10,000 and his pants were gone. The alleged incident occurred in January, and since then, only Mason and Bradbury have been arrested. Police said they are still searching for a third suspect in connection to the incident. So if you got any information, please call the
hitline.
Call
the hitline right now. We want to find out about those pants. And this was Knucklehead News with Joe Weiss. Joe, I think that went very well.
I think so.
I think it really did. Why don't we look at another memory of days gone by?
I love it.
It's a late 80s morning show flashback on WLUW.
There, it's done.
It's history for sure.
It's over.
Blow his pop stand.
That's right, but right now it's time for our top 10 list that I stole from David Letterman. Top 10 least popular Christmas gifts. We'll do the first one, get them out of the way really quick. Number 10, Andre the Giant Champagne. Number 9, Hickory Farms Smoked Gristle Assortment. Number 8, Phil Donahue's A Boy's First Dress. Number 7, an hour of free advertising on CBS. Number 6, the Jimmy Swaggart pop-up book.
Oh, that's...
Number 5, Angry Live Bird in a Bag from Hart's Mountain. Number 4, Dan Rather Lather Skin Bracer for Men.
Oh, that's cool.
Number 3, the Living Weasel Wallet. Number 2, Al Sharpton Hairstyling Spackle. And the number 1 least popular Christmas gift is Isotoner Diapers.
Well, that's nice.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Michelle, could we have some weather, please?
Sure. Today, windy and muddy.
That was the Laws with There She Goes on 88.7 FM. It's the Alumni Takeover Month of Love.
Yeah, February. Valentine's Day and this.
They, of course, choose the shortest month of the year to let us back
only
in
28 days.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. So, Joe, I think it's finally late enough. I know that back in the day, we wouldn't have hesitated to do this story at 6 o'clock in the morning while people are eating their Wheaties or whatever. But I think we can finally do it, because
kids are asleep.
It's not my son.
Not mine either.
My
They're
son's
probably listening to this.
wide awake. Daddy, say something dirty again. That's what we
I got some splaining to do to the family when I get home tonight. Thanks, Ed.
Well, radio is a great way for kids to learn, wonderful wonderful things about their bodies and about some weird sex facts.
This was a... Did we do this on the air back then?
We might have.
My gosh, I programmed that out of my head.
The one thing that Joe and I have been recalling all night long is how much we didn't remember about what we did and whether or not we are...
Oh my goodness.
I know, look at those people.
I'm looking
Aren't
at
they
the picture.
healthy? Aren't
nobody,
they healthy?
Nobody at home can see that.
Weird sex facts you may not know. Joe, did you know that women are more willing to commit adultery during their ovulation than at any other time throughout their cycle?
No, I was not aware of that.
Well, now you are, my friend. So capitalize on that.
Brought to you by the Loyola University Medical Center.
What is their slogan?
They also treat the human spirit.
Oh,
You're
okay.
gonna need a lot of treatment after this show.
All right, yeah. I'm sorry,
on.
I can't. During intercourse, your inner nose swells, most notably due to the increased flow of blood. So, in case you're getting a little sinusy, that's why it's happening. You know, if you're wondering if your grandparents and great-grandparents still have it, the overwhelming answer is yes. Approximately 1/3 of women in their 80s continue to have, what did you use before, intercourse?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Have intercourse with their husband or boyfriend, so long as they are both in good enough physical health.
So this
to do
ties
so.
back to our bit with Bernie Sanders. He's 77. For the record. Just trying to tie it all in.
You know, Joe, while many know that chocolate can be an excellent I'm thinking about something else. I'm very sorry. While many know that chocolate can be an excellent arousal for having intercourse, apparently the smell of pumpkin can also help increase blood flow to encourage things to get going.
And did you know that Morton, Illinois is the pumpkin capital of the world? Down in Tazewell County near Peoria. Things I've learned in my career.
I interviewed at a station down there, by the way.
Did you in Morton?
There is in Tazewell County. There is a WTAZ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tazewell Tazewell.
Hey, for those intrigued by having a threesome, you'll need to travel to Australia, as 20% of the population admits to having done one at least once.
And listening to us in Australia, right? On
Sure.
app.
That's right. Down Under Radio.
Oh no.
Finally, no wait, I've got two more. You know, women have the ability to make their voice sound sexier in order to entice men when needed. Men, however, do not possess such an ability, which is why they buy expensive cars. Actually, right there. Okay. Okay. Final one. Joe, and you're going to want to hold your hand up for this, and everybody at home, too. If you're driving, you might want to pull over because you're going to need a hand.
Oh, no.
Gentlemen, in order to know how much testosterone a man has, compare the length of your ring finger to your index finger. Now, Joe, you'll notice that my ring finger is substantially longer than my index finger, which means that the longer the ring finger is in comparison to the index finger, the more testosterone you have.
Wait. We can't show this on the air, but there's a big difference between my right hand and my left hand. And I'm going to stop right there. But it's like an inch difference. I never noticed this.
Oh my goodness.
I'm as soon as we're done with the show, I'm driving out to Maywood, checking into the Loyola Medical Center. They also treat the human spirit. LoyolaMedicine.org.
Short fingers. Okay. You know, Joe, the time has just gone so quickly.
I know, and Mikhail is... Mikhail
Okay.
G.
Yeah, it's
coming up at 8 with Recess with Hopscotch.
Yeah,
which is a great music
and
show.
we just met him.
We met him. He's a great guy.
Absolutely. You know, as dads, both of us are. We have our own progeny out there. Joe has two wonderful kids of his own. I have mine that was produced because of this radio station. I also have a son. For those of you who don't know, he was adopted from Haiti. And so he actually gave me a little bit of news. He said, "Dad, if you have any problem with the haters, this is what you want to say." So this is my son, Peter.
Damn on those haters.
And what he said was, dab on those haters.
Dab on those haters.
Yo, dab on those haters.
Dab on those haters. Dab on those haters. Dab on those haters. Dab on those haters. Dab on those haters. Dab on those haters. Dab on those haters.
Dab? I think so.
There might be. So remember out there, you want to go and dab on those haters, and I think it's almost 8 o'clock, so we better play a song, and we better get out of here.
Too much. We want to thank Loyola.
Yeah, absolutely.
WLUW.
And the wonderful people that I thought when we walked in they would look down on us because we're old. But yeah, the staff here has been fantastic. All the air staff was great. The university, the facilities are wonderful too. And is there anything else, Joe, that you would like to say? Because I've had the honor of signing off twice on this radio station saying I'm never coming back again. I don't know if you feel like that.
I think we all kind of left, when it was your time and you're young and 20, 22 years old, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. We, like take this job and shove it type attitude. And now here we are in our 50s. I'm 50, you're 52. We have a little bit different perspective on life. Kids
glad to be remembered.
You've got a college kid already and stuff. So it's been great to be here. It's been great to be here for the past 2 hours on the show and listening to these tapes. I'm floored at some of the stuff. I've forgotten some of the bits we did. Mm-hmm. The mornings were really fun. It was a great time in our lives. WLUW is a great place. Loyola is a great university. I'm so glad they're getting the attention they deserve now with that Final Four appearance this year. We wish the basketball team all the best.
And maybe they'll bring back Bo Rambler, their mascot,
Rambler, yes,
who was a big homeless guy with a long beard.
I don't think that's going to work.
I hung up some pictures of Bo in the studio. That is my gift to you.
I don't think that's going to play too well in the year 2019. Yeah. But it's been terrific, and Ed, to be back with you. Social media is like our outlet now for our jokes and stuff. So it was great to be here for a couple hours.
It really was.
Any of the students that broadcast here, you got a term paper due or something, you need Ed and I to fill in for you, give us a call. We'll be down. We'll come down here and.
I don't know that they do term papers
or whatever. You got a big test. I don't know. Go to a party.
It could be. But Joe, that clock on the wall.
Oh, it's
time is the tyrant, and it's telling us we need to get out of here.
All right. So recess with hopscotch.
That's
Nikhil
right.
G is next.
And until we get to that, it is the Charlatans UK with the only one I know on 88.7 FM.
High energy.
listening to 88.7 WLUW, Chicago Sound Alliance, broadcasting from the campus of Loyola University. My name is Nikhil, also known as Hopscotch, and we are back with Recess. We're going to get into a mix by Fritz Wetnick. Here we go.